I'm Karen Spear-Ellenwood, Education Specialist and a PhD candidate at the University of Arizona College of Education in the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Sociocultural Studies. This presentation was designed for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and PBS. It's entitled Growing 21st Century Knowledge Professionals Through Zonebee. At home, the students watched the crash of 1929 on TV at KUAT, the local Tucson PBS station affiliated with the U of A. And then at home or at the library, depending upon the internet access a student might have, the students followed through on the teacher's Zonebee Starter Trail to find and review the related film on the Civilian Conservation Corps and to research other PBS resources online. So after watching the program, the students pick up the teacher's Zonebee trail that we just saw her create. The students view the trail, they find and review the PBS video, because as you recall, the video was saved in the teacher's trail. They get a sense of the kind of resources that Mrs. Gordon qualifies as valid and useful for research, and they see where and how to start their own investigations. So in this scenario that follows, Ed, the student, starts his own trail beginning with Zonebee to explore a specific topic within the larger one on economic stress, the Great Depression, the CCC, or economic recovery, and investigate it both from an historical perspective and a current perspective. He begins by playing back Mrs. Gordon's trail, so he can see that trail exactly as she did. He clicks on Reflect, just like she did when she reviewed the trail, and he goes to Trails Shared from Others, and he finds Mrs. Gordon's trails. He then sees exactly what she sees, and on the left he clicks on Focus to filter the results to see basically the ones that she thought were the most important, the ones she rated favorable. Then he decides to play back the entire trail. Notice that he sees two things. In this area below, if there was a concordance cloud, by clicking on Focus, he sees exactly the same cloud that Mrs. Gordon did. At the same time, he sees the page that she went to and exactly the content on the page as it appears live. He can see the notes on the page that she made and read them and make sure that he understands the assignment. He can also, as you can see by using the scroll bar here, he can scroll down and view other information on the page just to get a sense of what else that page is about besides the notes that she's made in her trails. And he can do this from beginning to end on each of the actions that she took in her trail. On this particular one, he reviews the notes and can see that she thinks this is a favorable kind of resource to use. In other words, a valid and useful one. I'm just clicking through quickly here so you can just get a sense of the fact that he gets to see everything that she created, as well as being able to navigate these pages live. What this allows the student to do is to pick up where the teacher left off with this model trail. Ed can then start a fresh trail. After reviewing Mrs. Gordon's trail, Ed starts his own, and he calls it Ed Demo Depression Recovery. This identifies the trail as his, and it identifies the topic. When he shares it later with Miss Gordon, she'll be able to tell his trail from others in the class and be able to identify the assignment. I wanted to begin here with the difference between explore and search. Explore allows you to brainstorm and understand the topic a little bit better so that you can discover the language that you should be using for your search terms. Therefore, the idea is that your search will become much more effective and efficient. So here you see Ed, and on the left-hand side over here, he's using the terms CCC, Arizona, and National Parks. He lives in Arizona. He wants to know what the Civilian Conservation Corps was like in Arizona and in the National Park System, as these were mentioned in the film that he saw on PBS. The first thing Zonebee does when he clicks either Enter or Explore is he gets a tag cloud. Now this tag cloud lets him know what the internet is thinking, if you will, about the topic. In other words, people who have already written about this topic on the internet, what terms have they associated with the terms CCC, Arizona, and national parks? Ed can then select from those terms, as you see him doing here, and add to or exclude terms from his search query on the right. And Zonebee uses this space on the right as a box to show the user, this is the query you're building so far. Notice that Ed can also modify the tag cloud to go from showing 25 tags to 100 or more tags. So Ed can review the terms he's used and then decide whether there's anything in here he wants to exclude, and he decides to exclude the term anniversary. He doesn't want to get information on parties or anything like that. What he wants to do is use this search query, so he checks the box and goes to Zonebee qualified sites, and he gets a list of search results that Zonebee is determined are relevant to the terms that he's used. Zonebee also repeats the search so that the student can see the search words that he used to find those results. He clicks on the first result. It's at this point, once the results are found, that the learner can use the focus feature. And this is that feature that allows for the pop-up window with the concordance cloud. You can tag and annotate your ideas while they're fresh in mind. So going back to the search results, he clicks on the first search result, and that takes him to a National Park Service page. And this page has a listing of biographies on people who were speakers at a symposium on the Civilian Conservation Corps and National Park System, and specifically has information about those who are both from Arizona and spoke about the CCC works done in Arizona. And so he's particularly interested in this one. It's from the local university. And like the teacher, he can use that concordance cloud to tag it as a reminder of what this page is about. He also took an excerpt from that page. You notice down here in the action clip, this is the title of the paper that he wants to go back to later and read. Makes a note to himself that this is the information on journal articles and bios of the authors. So he knows what kind of page it is, rather than being a page which contains the article itself. He can now review the notes of it on its action live before Xing out or going to a new page. He decides to navigate this site a little bit more before going back to his search results. And again, can use the concordance cloud to quickly tag, while it's fresh in his mind, what this page is about. His search results were opened up in new tabs, so he quickly goes back to the search result tab for Zone B and clicks on the next result. He then sees that he's landed on a page that has more information on specific CCC projects and the people involved, and memorabilia or documentation of those projects and the people's involvement in them in Arizona.